The Denver Nuggets are now on top of the NBA, and they are known as the NBA's best team. It took them quite a long time to get there, so let's take a look back on what exactly it was that got them to the point they are today. It all starts in the summer of 2014 with the draft of the very notable Nikola Jokic. But this is before he was known. With the 41st pick in the second round of the NBA draft, the Nuggets went and selected Nikola Jokic, who is currently playing pro ball over in Serbia for the Adriatic League. In fact, most of you know, and for the ones that you don't know, his draft choice was taken over a Taco Bell commercial. This guy was an inconvenience. No one cared about this pick. But there was something there that the scouting team for the Denver Nuggets saw, and it changed their history forever. It wasn't until the following year that Jokic actually stepped on the floor for the Nuggets. He chose to stay another year in the Serbian league to develop his game. When he showed up, the difference was made immediately. The Denver Nuggets' key to building a phenomenal team wasn't signing players or acquiring players, per se, but it was building players. Development was key in their process to the top, and that's exactly what they built this entire team on, was development and process. The year that Jokic finally showed up and was his rookie season was 2015, and this was at the same time the Denver Nuggets chose to hire head coach Michael Malone. Michael Malone had just come off of being fired from the Sacramento Kings. They thought that Michael Malone was a problem, but it turns out the Kings themselves are actually the problem. Now, this was key piece for the Denver Nuggets. Michael Malone's system is exactly why Jokic is able to thrive as a player. It maximizes his potential, and everybody else is on the team. Players consistently come to Denver and have career years. Bruce Brown was a notable player who came into Denver and changed his entire career around. He was getting cut, and now he got the biggest contract of his entire career. Michael Malone plays a huge role in everybody in this team. But it wasn't until the next year that the dynamic duo we all know and love today officially began. The 2016 NBA draft, the Denver Nuggets selected with the 7th overall Kentucky guard Jamal Murray. Now, Jamal Murray had a lot of talk on his name of why he couldn't be proven in the NBA. It was his defense wasn't there at all, and his playmaking ability just didn't exist as well. He was only a pure scorer, only a pure shot creator. Jamal Murray did have a slow start to his career. Jamal Murray actually went 0 for 17 on his first threes stretch before he could actually hit a three. But when he got that first one, it was only up from there.
Harper here on Fox Sports Southwest. Jamal Murray by 14. Murray.
Jamal Murray went on to win Western Conference Rookie of the Month in December and was going crazy his rookie year, averaging just about 13 points per game as a true rookie coming off the bench. But this is when the Nuggets took the turn that really changed their franchise forever. And that was when they decided to go with Nikola Jokic as the full-time starting center. Now, this may seem like an insignificant fact, but it was actually the turning point of this Denver Nuggets team and the Denver Nuggets franchise as a whole. Jusuf Nurkic, who was actually drafted in 2014 as well, was the current starting center, and things just weren't looking good for the Denver Nuggets. They didn't have much spark on offense. It seemed like something needed to change, and that's exactly what it was. Nurkic was benched, Jokic became the starter, and Nurkic felt upset and requested a trade, and the Nuggets did exactly that, sending Nurkic to the Portland Trailblazers, and now it was the Jokic era. Before Jokic stepped on as a starter, the Nuggets were sitting at 9-16. It wasn't until after they won 31 of their next 50 games. This man, Jokic, immediately made an impact in only his second year, and his first half season of him starting, the team had already became better. The Denver Nuggets the next year fell short of the playoffs, but it wasn't until the third season of this Jokic, Michael Malone, and Jamal Murray era where we saw this step we wanted to see. Summer of 2017, the Nuggets actually draft Donovan Mitchell, who you may know as a Cavaliers star, but we traded him for Trey Lyles. Now, you could say we got fleeced, but the Nuggets didn't allow this minor setback to hold them. The Nuggets prevailed and still moved forward and made their team a better team. The Nuggets went and signed former All-Star Paul Millsap and a low-key signing backup center Mason Plumlee. Now, these two moves weren't huge moves. They weren't big names. They weren't flashy by any means. But these two names were core pieces to this Nuggets culture, this Nuggets team. And that's not where they stopped. They wanted to get elite depth, and that's exactly what this team did. They went to go get Monte Morris, who was a phenomenal facilitator off the bench, did not turn over the ball, knew how to run an offense, as well as 3-and-D forward Torrey Craig. Now, this guy Torrey Craig was able to bring that perimeter defense that this Nuggets team lacked. The only perimeter defenders were really Gary Harris, and now pairing him up with Torrey Craig, and Monte Morris just adds all that much depth. It also didn't hurt that Jamal Murray took that step that we were waiting for him to take. He bumped up from 10 points per game the previous season to now averaging 17 points per game in only his third season in the NBA. Jamal Murray was making the jumps, and his team was getting better season by season and even month by month. They have an opportunity to clinch the playoffs. They host the Jimmy-led Timberwolves to clinch a playoff spot, the original play-in game. Winner goes to the playoffs. Loser has to sit at home and watch the playoffs. Jimmy Butler and Karl Anthony Towns outplayed Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray went 4 for 18. Nikola Jokic didn't have a great game either. Now, this wasn't it for the young stars. In fact, this is just the beginning of what they could bring to the NBA. They didn't allow the loss to Jimmy Butler and Karl Anthony Towns to define them. They let it make them stronger. After the season ended, the Nuggets decided it was enough of just building depth and let's go and get that third star. And that's exactly what they did in the 2018 NBA draft. With the 14th pick, they selected 7-foot pure bucket Michael Porter Jr. Now, the thing about Michael Porter Jr. was there was a lot of risk within this pick. And the reason for that was he had 3 back surgeries in only high school. He hadn't even touched an NBA court yet and already had 3 back surgeries. The concerns of him just not being able to be on the court were so high that he was a projected number 1 overall pick that fell to number 14 by the Denver Nuggets. And this was a pick that was an investment. He wasn't able to play his rookie season due to the back injuries. But this was a pick that paid the Nuggets greatly. 2018-2019, we see a nice step was made. The Nuggets actually make the playoffs. They face off against the Spurs. 2018-2019 is where we saw the Nuggets make the jump. This year, they finally make the playoffs, but unfortunately fall short of the finals. But this wasn't it for the Nuggets. In fact, they played a great series, taking the Spurs to 7, winning that, and then moving on to the second round, unfortunately losing to Dame Lillard-led Blazers in 7 games, and it was at home. It definitely hurt, but the Nuggets made the jump. They made the playoffs, and they didn't even have their third scorer yet. Michael Porter Jr. had yet to see the court, and they had already made the playoffs. This team was very, very promising. Everything was going as planned and on time as they wanted it to. 2019, they still went back to the drawing board. They didn't allow the playoff loss and say, let's not make any changes. They still went in and buffed up what was already strong. They signed Jeremy Grant, who was exactly what this team lacked. They needed a star forward defender, a true elite defender that could guard a LeBron James or a Kawhi Leonard or all of those high-powered Kevin Durant, all those high-powered wing scorers. They needed someone to shut him down, and that's exactly what Jeremy Grant was able to do. 2019-2020 season sparked the greatest playoff run we've ever seen by the Nuggets since Carmelo Anthony. And they did it in a historic fashion. First round, the Denver Nuggets are faced off with the Utah Jazz led by their former first-round draft pick, Donovan Mitchell. Now, Donovan Mitchell had an opportunity to bite the Nuggets in the butt for not picking him, and he almost did it. Donovan Mitchell goes and drops 250 bombs in a single series, putting the Utah Jazz up 3-1. Now, this series looked over. The Nuggets looked tired. Jamal Murray looked tired. Jokic was fed up. But that didn't mean a single thing. Jamal Murray comes in and scores 42 points, putting the Nuggets at 3-2. And then the next game goes and drops 51 points, bringing the Nuggets at 3-3. Game 7 faced off Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, both playing historic series. Donovan Mitchell has the opportunity to let the Nuggets know they missed out on a superstar. Jamal Murray and Jokic shut those allegations down. They shut those noises down. They quieted all that noise. Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic combined for 60 points and barely bring the Nuggets past the Utah Jazz in round 1, coming back down 3-1 for the first time in franchise history. The Denver Nuggets are now faced with the NBA's favorites for the NBA Finals in the LA Clippers, led by superstar Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. This team was heavy loaded with talent, and so were the Nuggets, but the Nuggets were very tired. The Nuggets come in and are down 3-1 once again. Michael Malone is just absolutely fed up. The Nuggets did not play how they were supposed to play. It looked like these guys didn't want it, and this may be the end of what could be a finals team. If they can't get past the second round here, Will they ever get past the second round? The Nuggets are down 17 points going into the fourth quarter, and this season was wraps. The Nuggets obviously didn't want to win a championship, and they didn't want to win this series at all. The questions of what were this Nuggets team going to do this offseason were already on the table. Teams were wondering, players and fans were wondering, what's going to happen with this team if they can't get to the playoffs with the squad they have now? Well, that fourth quarter shut all of that down. The Nuggets somehow come alive out of nowhere and take Game 4. Now it's 3-2, and the Nuggets come back another 3-1 deficit, being the first team ever to come back from multiple 3-1 deficits in a single playoff series. The Nuggets had just made history once again, and now the Nuggets had made it to the Western Conference Finals for only third time in history, and they're facing a familiar foe in the LA Lakers, who was the previous team to take them out nearly a decade ago. And that story didn't change this time either. The Denver Nuggets fall to the LeBron James Lakers 4-1. It was a close series, but the Nuggets were just too tired and LeBron James was too unstoppable. But the Nuggets went into that offseason with a lot of great to see. Michael Porter Jr. was flourishing in the bubble. Jamal Murray emerged into a superstar, and Nikola Jokic was already solidifying himself as a superstar. But somehow, the Nuggets got better. The 2021 season comes around, and this is when we see a step that 2021 comes, and this is where we see a step that Jokic took that no one thought was going to happen. Jokic booms off as the league-leading MVP, and Michael Porter Jr. is averaging nearly 20 points per game. Everything was going right for this team. It looked like this was the year the Nuggets could win the championship, but the Nuggets didn't stop there in 2021. In fact, they made the team even better. After losing Jeremy Grant to free agency, the Nuggets acquire Aaron Gordon in a finesse trade, sending Gary Harris and RJ Hampton and few draft picks for Aaron Gordon. They just fleeced the Magic for Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon is an elite dunker and an elite defender. He is a near all defensive team player, and the Nuggets just acquired him for nothing. Not only is Aaron Gordon a phenomenal standstill player, but putting him beside a phenomenal passer like Jokic only makes Aaron Gordon's skills that much more valuable to a franchise. And that's exactly what Aaron Gordon did. He paired perfectly with Jokic, catching about 3 to 4 lobs a game. Just insane. Everything was perfect. This team was now the NBA favorite. This team was expecting a chip at the end of the season, all until April 12th. Jamal Murray goes up for a layup like any other game and tears his ACL, ending this year's finals window, but possibly the finals window for the Nuggets history. Losing your young superstar point guard like that to a franchise is detrimental. It's like losing your quarterback, and he tore his ACL. We don't know how he's going to come back. We don't know if he would even be able to come back. Jamal Murray is still athletic. He relies on his athleticism a lot to get buckets, and a torn ACL is nothing to play with regardless of the player type. It's a very serious injury, an injury that many players don't consistently come back from. Questions start to arise. What is going to happen for this Nuggets? Will Jokic leave? Why would Jokic stay on a team that obviously has no future winning a championship if he's an MVP style player? Well, despite all this talks of what this team couldn't do, Jokic brings them to the playoffs and gets them to the second round. Unfortunately, they get mopped by the Phoenix Suns, led by Devin Booker and Chris Paul. 2021-2022 season arises, and Jokic is pretty much left to carry Aaron Gordon, or not carry, but now Jokic is left with Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. as his second and third best players. Now, this is still a good team. By no means is it trash, but it's not a team that can win a finals. But Jokic didn't care about none of that. Jokic actually improved from his previous MVP season, bringing in his second MVP and being only the third player in NBA history to win back-to-back, or becoming only the fifth player in NBA history to win back-to-back MVPs. Jokic carries the team, but Jokic's improvement in his play didn't mean anything for what this team could do in the finals. Michael Porter Jr. actually injures himself 9 games into the season, being out for the season, and Aaron Gordon missed a lot of time. And now it was really just Jokic and Gordon carrying Faco Campazzo. Now, Jokic still did it, got them to the playoffs, and actually had them at a 6th seed, like I said, winning his second MVP. But Curry had other plans, smacking Nikola Jokic in round 1 of the NBA playoffs. So now the 2021 season is over, 2022 season is over, but now the 2022 and 2023 NBA season has begun. And the Denver Nuggets make phenomenal choices. It all starts with the summer of 2022. They draft previous national champion from Kansas, Christian Braun, who made an immediate impact as a rookie. But that's not where they stopped. Free agency, they went out and acquired KCP via trade and went and got Bruce Brown, who was a phenomenal pickup, as well as picking up DeAndre Jordan and Reggie Jackson, who were later to be found extremely valuable. Now, Bruce Brown was a guard from Brooklyn who had shown flashes of star potential, but just couldn't quite put it together night in and night out. And as for KCP, he was a proven star. This man had won a ring with LeBron and the Bumble. He was someone that the Nuggets could trust to put the ball in his hands when clutch moments were needed to be made. And the 2022 season was exactly that, different. The Denver Nuggets go into the playoffs and look different. First round, they're faced with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray mopped them 4-1. Second round, they are now not even the favorites. They're going up against the Phoenix Suns, led by Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Chris Paul. But the Nuggets didn't care about any of that. They 4-2 them and are now faced with another familiar face, the LA Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, for who the last 2 times they saw, they knocked them off and sent them home. But that wasn't the case this time. In fact, it was quite the opposite. The Denver Nuggets 4-0 LeBron James and Anthony Davis in the playoffs and are now earned their first ever trip to the NBA Finals. For the first time in history, the Nuggets now have the opportunity to put a banner that has never hung in their arena. And that is exactly what they did. Faced off with the Jimmy Butler-led Heats, the Nuggets wasted no time, winning the NBA Finals in just 5 games. And the Denver Nuggets finally acquired what seemed to be impossible all of those years, that NBA Finals trophy. And Nikola Jokic was named the Finals MVP. The Denver Nuggets had just accomplished what they've waited all those years for, nearly a decade. This team has a lot left in the tank. In fact, I think this is just the beginning of what this team can do. With so much star power around a bona fide superstar in Nikola Jokic, there's really no slowing this team down. It's all in the hands of Jokic and Jamal Murray and fate. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy. Peace.
Hop in that